Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you guys are all having, and gals are all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I just want to discuss performance coaching plan and what I would be looking at in terms of if I was willing to hire a coach to coach me, what I would be looking for in a performance coaching plan. Obviously, I would be looking very closely at what percentage of the volume that the coach had me doing, what percentage of that volume am I training at or below the goal race pace that I'm going for? A lot of athletes are kind of just guessing at the types of workouts they need to be doing, and they just go out and say, okay, I'm going to run 5 miles today, or maybe I'm going to do this fartlek workout this day. It's much easier to hire a consultant or an elite coach that has done what you're seeking to do, because it takes the guesswork out of all the training and the setup, and you know exactly what workouts you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. That's what I do with the private running community. Is not only am I creating content in there, but when athletes join the community, I create a specific training plan geared around exactly what that athlete, their background is. So if their longest long run in the past has been 8 miles, then we try to gear that around toward that type of training. But I also focus on getting the athlete out of their comfort zone as well. We, again, to make significant gains in this sport, you have to do much more oftentimes that's required out of you. At the time when I was a 2:43 marathoner, again, that's 6:14 mile pace, I was trying to run a marathon in 2 hours and 22 minutes for the marathon, which is 5 minutes and 25 seconds per mile. So to go from 6:14 to 5:25, there were significant changes I had to make in order to achieve that goal. And I eventually ended up doing that run in 2:19:35 for the marathon. So a performance coaching plan has to emphasize a higher percentage of weekly volume, training at paces that are at or much, much more aggressive than the goal race pace that you're going after. A performance coaching plan also has to focus on the psychological makeup of the athlete as well. If you're working with a consultant or a coach, obviously the coach has to be available. You have to be able to ask a question and then expect to get an answer at a relatively quick response rate. And that is really, at RunDreamAchieve.com, I've been doing this for a little over a decade here at the website. I've had RunDreamAchieve.com since 2011. I built the YouTube channel here in 2019, so I haven't really been making videos for that long, but I've been running since 1992. So a lot of my background is based around this philosophy of quality over quantity, working smarter rather than harder. So a performance coaching plan has to focus on you using leverage, focusing more toward training at and far below goal race pace, but also focusing on the other factors that go into ensuring that you're successful at your chosen distance. And a lot of that is knowing when to back off on those easy days. Big mistake athletes are making, and they're still focused on what pace they're running per mile or per kilometer on their easy days. You have to have the same amount of discipline on those easy days as you have already for those hard anaerobic workouts you're doing. It's to get great results. Greatness also is about working smarter. And if you don't have the willingness to slow down on those easy days and stop worrying about what pace per mile you're running or per kilometer, and you're not going to be able to recover from these hard workouts that you do. The best runners I've trained with over the years, they do the workout, and then when they're done with the track workout or the road session, they don't go back and think about how the workout went and did they do it fast enough. They just put in the work. They stay consistent with what they're doing. They focus on doing the other things like Epsom salt baths, ice baths, hydrating well before, during, and after the workouts. So they're doing a lot of things that go into being a high performer at their chosen distance. So that's what I want for you all, whether you're a new viewer of the channel, you are a new visitor to RunDreamAchieve.com. It's very important that you work smarter rather than harder, because if you're running too much volume, all you're doing is building endurance. You are becoming very strong endurance-wise, but in terms of your strength and stamina and being able to sustain race pace for longer periods of time, that takes a greater percentage of your weekly volume training at paces that are much, much more aggressive than you're planning on racing at. So to do that and to do it effectively, you have to slow down on your easy days. You have to learn how to jog and disregard what pace you're running at on those days. The best runners I've trained with over the years, they run a higher percentage of their weekly volume at paces that are closer to their race pace, but they also are jogging and they're taking it easy on their recovery days. I would give yourself 48 hours, give yourself 2 days of recovery after every hard anaerobic workout you do. There's some athletes out there, and I've done this numerous times over the years too, where they'll do 2 hard anaerobic workouts in one day. So an example of that might be for me, training for the marathon, doing 6 1-mile repetitions in the morning, and then as an AM workout, and in the PM I would do say a 25-minute fartlek run of doing 1 minute hard followed by 1 minute easy. And so that's 2 hard anaerobic workouts in one day. So the next 2 days I would be jogging. It might be double runs, it might be single runs, but I would be jogging on those recovery days, because again, I want to get the highest return on investment that I possibly can get in my marathon or 5K or 10K kilometer or half marathon race preparation. So a coaching performance plan has to focus on that. The coaching performance plans that I have on RunDreamAchieve.com are 16 weeks in length. They range anywhere from athletes that are focusing on the mile all the way up to the 50K distance. I also have a private running community where I work one-on-one with athletes that are seeking not only a fitness consultant, but somebody that they can reach out to on a routine basis that can go over workouts that they're doing or workouts that we have planned. And so it's a much more in-depth relationship that's available to you if that's something that you're interested in. The running courses that I've created here on RunDreamAchieve.com are also available to you. They're a combination of video tutorials like this, where we cover specific topics of, say, breaking 3 hours to the marathon, or breaking 2 hours for the half marathon, or running under 4 hours, or 2 hours and 30 minutes for the marathon. So there are a lot of options that are available here in terms of a performance coaching plan that can help you get to the next level in your racing. So again, you have to focus on doing and thinking the way a world-class athlete prepares. Okay, your paces per mile, your paces per kilometer, your intervals on the track are going to be drastically different than, say, a world-class athlete, but you can still mimic the types of workouts they're doing. If you're a marathoner and you want marathon success, then you know that a 3 to 4 mile tempo run might give you, might build that some endurance, but you need to build strength and stamina in order to sustain your goal marathon race pace for not a portion of the race, but the entire duration of the race. So maybe longer tempo runs are what you need to do. If you're a 5K to 10K athlete, and you're running mainly endurance, easy aerobic runs every single weekend, then you have to start focusing on speed development. You have to work on your leg speed. Even if you're a middle distance runner or a long distance runner and you're not so much a sprinter, we can always work on our speed. Okay, so speed kills when it comes to the marathon. So you have to have not only the endurance, you have to have the strength and stamina, and you have to have the mental tenacity to get through the race and to outwit your competition. And to do that properly, you have to not only have a coaching performance plan or performance coaching plan that's going to set you up for success, but you also have to have you have to pre-plan correctly. You don't want to go into say running a marathon and you're trying to break 2 hours and 40 minutes. You don't want to go out the first half in 107 or 108. Okay, yes, is it possible to go out in 107.08 and still run a 239? It's still possible, but you'd better have a strong anaerobic base and a very strong endurance base as well to be able to sustain sub 240 marathon pace for the last half of that race. So going out in, say, 122 and coming back with a 117 is a smarter way to go. That's a 238 marathon. So in terms of your coaching, in terms of your plan that you want to follow, you have to be thinking outside the box. You have to be thinking the way a world-class athlete thinks, and mimic the work output that those types of athletes are putting out. Again, if you looked at a world-class athlete and their training plan, you're going to see a higher percentage of their weekly volume. They're going to be running at much higher qualities because, again, they're teaching their body to burn fat at race pace more effectively than the average runner. You know, like I said, a lot of athletes can go out and run a few miles or a few kilometers at goal race pace, but it's an art form to be able to do that for long durations of a race, and to run a half marathon, you know, 2 to 3 minutes faster than you're planning on racing. You have to set up your training in the proper way in order to get that end result. So I hope this video is helpful for you in terms of performance coaching plans and how I set up and the type of mindset that I have here at RunDreamAchieve.com. If you have any other questions about the running courses, the private running community, the monthly coaching option, the training plans, or any other questions that you have, or any topics you want me to cover, feel free to let me know in the comment section below this video. And again, there's resources below all of my videos that are available to you all. And I wish you all the best, and I look forward to hearing about your new personal best in 2022 and into the future. So I will talk to you in the next video.